Hi, I'm Brandon, and I'm back again with Ben Metcalf for a new horror review. Like, I'm not sure if it's really horror or not, but it's close to horror. It's actually someone in the comment section recommended we do it. I'd never seen this movie before. It's called The Bad Seed from 1956, so it's an older one. I first found out about this movie watching Eli Roth's History of Horror series. In one of the episodes on movies about evil kids, they reference this movie as pretty much, or is the first evil kid movie. That's where I first heard about it, and I kind of forgot about it until someone recommended it. So Ben and I watched it to do this review.
Hmm.
So let's get into it. Ben, what do you think of this?
Well, it is from 1956, and it is real old, as we mentioned. People in the 50s sure did talk funny. I realized as I watched this movie, um, it was a real time capsule. I mean, just the words people chose, the names people had. People are named Hortense and Rhoda and all sorts of crazy. Wasn't there a Gertrude or something too? I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But there were a lot of weird names. People talked very strangely. There were a lot of turns of phrase that we no longer use. The class society in America that existed in the 1950s doesn't seem to exist in that way any longer with like upper class people and middle class people and lower class people. Now I think there's just like the ultra rich and then there's everyone else. So
Mm-hmm.
things have changed a lot in that regard. But I thought it was interesting. It took me a little bit to get into it, but when I got into it, I really got into it. And it's quite a long movie. It's over 2 hours long, which I wasn't expecting. Um, but yes, it's black and white. It's definitely it's based on a stage play. So this was a stage play before it was a movie, which I find interesting as well. And I think that it really, um, at the heart of this thing, it opens up the conversation of nature versus nurture with children, uh, on how whether the environment that someone grows up on is a 100% the catalyst in the type of adult someone grows into, or if it's their nature, or if it's their bloodline or hereditary or genetics. I don't think that's still a question that people in psychology are debating to this day, in child psychology in particular, nature versus nurture. But I don't think that there's a clear answer, and I think this movie shows us that too. That you could take you could take a person who grew up in the worst possible conditions, and they can end up being a very good person who wants to do good and change things for the better for other people. And you can take people who have grown up in the best possible conditions, and they can just be bad seeds. What did you think of this movie?
Yeah, actually, I loved it. I thought it was great. It is
Hmm.
like it's old, but I love the fact it's like it is like a period. It's a period piece, but
Yeah,
most period pieces you watch are modern movies set from years or centuries ago.
yeah,
This one, it's like you're watching a movie. Yeah, it was from 1956. So yeah, like things were different, and a lot of people they don't give black and white old movies a chance. But when you do, and you just kind of get over the fact that they're black and white and stuff, like the stories are actually like really damn good. They're slower paced.
yeah.
Like now, movies are rapid now. Now there's like fewer scenes in it. Each scene is longer. There's a lot more dialogue. There's a lot more just characters talking rather than like four lines of dialogue. Boom, we're on to like a different scenario.
Yeah.
It's like there's just a lot of it takes place just in the house or the apartment where they live. There's a lot more talking, but damn, is that girl a good actor? Just to be able to
Oh,
memorize
she's
that amount of
fantastic.
dialogue, like,
Yeah,
and a lot of there's no cuts. Like, there's these scenes, like they're 5 minute scenes of just them moving around, talking, and all this stuff. Like, they must have rehearsed and like did a very good job.
yeah,
And yeah, there is. I was gonna say, like, I'm reading a book now. I got from the library. It's a new book about psychopaths. I just
yeah,
happened to be reading, and I
yep,
think at this time, like, psychiatry had been around for decades at that point, since the late 1800s, I think. But this new study of like psychopaths was kind of a new thing. It was probably in the news, and they flat out bring it up. Like, it is an ongoing theme where like how could you have this young girl who grew up in a wealthy family? How could she possibly be be like a bad person. Like that's for the poor people. They grow up in the poor neighborhoods. Those are the
Yep.
people that turn out bad because they're around criminals. And it's like no, like she could have been born that way. Something's wrong with her. And it's like that. That's kind of they bring that up with the
Yeah.
dad and his buddy arguing about it. But then we find out it's true. Like this girl is basically it's hereditary because you find out that her mother is actually the daughter of the infamous serial killer.
Yeah.
I got
Back
this from
before they had a term for that sort of thing, because
yes,
serial
they didn't
killer
know.
didn't come around until the 70s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't know that, but they did, she was a
Mhm.
I can't remember what they called her, but she was a multiple murderer.
Yeah, she was a poisoner. She poisons people with a different poison every time, so it was hard to try and catch her.
Yeah, and then she would like flee, and then she was like living in Australia.
But at the same time, they make an argument for both sides because the mother of Rhoda, who is the bad seed, the evil little girl that we're talking about, who did a fantastic job, I agree, 100%. Um, the mother of this girl, who did come from a terrible environment but was transposed into a very loving family, but has the genetics of the serial killer, of the psychopathy, it managed to skip her because so maybe nurture does have
Yeah,
something to do with it, and maybe nature does too, because now she's done everything to nurture Rhoda, and Rhoda is a psychopath. So I think that really gets into the fact that we can't. This starts to explore that territory that we can't tell. Some people are just that way. Some people are psychopaths, and you can't really do anything about it other than yeah, deal with it when it comes time.
yeah, it's maybe it skips a generation,
Yeah, maybe it's
or
recessive.
yeah, or just like it's more it's just random. Like maybe the mom has it too. She just for whatever reason never acted out on it. Just it just
Yeah,
never came up. Whereas the little girl, it's like she it's hinted early on that she killed her uh, the previous town they lived in when they were lived in Wichita. There was an old lady in their apartment building that the little girl befriended, and the old lady died by falling downstairs. As soon as they bring that up, we know damn right well this little girl pushed her
yeah,
down, which we do find out later is true. But the little girl, mom brings her to school. She's at school near this lake having like a picnic with the other students. And then we find out one of the young boys drowned.
yeah,
And the little girl was last seen with him. And she was jealous because he had won this contest, a writing contest that
yeah,
she felt she should have won. And he had this little medal from it that she wanted. And as we go on, it's kind of hinted that the mom starts to realize, I think my daughter had something to do with it. And then
hmm
she finds that medal the boy was wearing in her daughter's like jewelry box. And the daughter has an explanation for it that's somewhat plausible. But of course, like an 8-year old's excuses don't really add up. Like they don't really stand up to scrutiny. So the mom starts realizing, oh shit, like she killed this boy basically.
yeah,
You could definitely tell this was based on a play
yeah,
because a lot of the action happens off screen. The drowning happens. You see the little girl at the lake. That's one of the few scenes that takes place outside the apartment building. Everything is either in the apartment or in the little courtyard right outside the apartment or like in the basement of the apartment. You don't see a lot of other stuff. So the boy drowns off camera. The handyman, she like sets it. He sleeps on this bed of Excelsior, like stuffing. He sleeps on this bed in the
Did you
basement.
know that stuff was called Excelsior?
I did
Oh, okay.
because um, Stan Lee, like from
Yeah,
Marvel, he'd always use the word Excelsior.
yeah,
And then I read in somewhere people were like, "Why does he always say that word? That's just a type of like stuffing." And they're like, "No, it has two meanings. It means like up and away,
yeah.
that kind of
I
thing. But
only
it
knew
also,
that meaning. I only knew the Stan Lee meaning. I didn't know that this stuff was called Excelsior.
yeah. Which if you didn't know, it's like what's Excelsior. So that's the only reason I knew that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this little girl lights it on fire while he's
Oh my
sleeping, and
God.
then
Yeah.
like locks him in the basement. So you hear him screaming,
Yeah.
and they apparently they let him out, and he's on fire, but you don't see him. You just see people's horrified reactions,
Yeah.
which obviously they're doing for budget's sake, and the fact that they maybe that technology didn't exist to light a guy on fire back then. But it's still effective. It's like you could just watch it, and it's like you still get the story out of it, and it's a very good story. But it's kind of obvious that this was a stage play.
Yeah, in some other ways too. Like you mentioned before, the scenes are quite long and very dialogue heavy, and there are different parts where a character will monologue to the camera, like Leroy or Leroy, depending on who's referring to him. They either call him Leroy or Leroy. I don't know. I thought it was always Leroy, but other people called him Leroy. There are a few times where he will talk directly to the camera as if he's supposed to be talking to himself, but since it's based on a stage play, it's a monologue where he talks about how he's a bad guy too, and he can recognize it in her because he's bad and she's bad, and I know she's bad because I can see it because I'm bad, and like that sort of thing. But it goes on for a while. But yeah, it's quite effective. Definitely, you can tell that it was based on a stage play from all that stuff, and very, very wordy. Lots of dialogue. There is one character that drove me nuts, and it was the landlady upstairs who I don't know where she got her qualifications from, but she psychoanalyzes everyone throughout the entire movie, and she's completely incorrect. A lot of the time. Like when Leroy is just, kind of being a degenerate, she tells them, "Oh, he's absolutely got schizophrenia," and like he doesn't
Yes.
have. How the fuck do you know if he has schizophrenia? He doesn't hear voices. Like, how would you know? She's just. I mean, looking back, it was the 1950s. Things were very early in the realm of psychoanalysis, and we've come a long way in discovering how people's minds work. And there's still a lot of mysteries, but we've come a long way, and there's just some annoying stuff. But Claude Daigle is the name of the kid who got drowned, who won the penmanship medal that Rhoda absolutely believed that she belonged to, that it should have been hers. And Claude Daigle's parents play a bigger role in this movie as things go on than I would have thought. Claude Daigle's mother keeps coming back, and she is shit hammered every time we see her on corn liquor, which is apparently a thing. Did you know that corn liquor is a thing that still exists?
I did
Fortified
not.
corn liquor?
Yeah, that mom, yeah, she would show up drunk. She was actually like one of the standouts of the movie. Like
Yeah.
that was good. A lot of people in movies when they act drunk, they're just annoying. You can't even stand to watch it. She
Yeah,
was
but I
actually
believed
entertaining.
it.
Yeah, and, like she
Yeah.
did a believable job, and it was just like it was like a standout performance. I
Hmm.
thought that was leading somewhere because I was trying to figure out what's the ending going to be. My guess when I was watching it was this little girl is going to die somehow. I'm like, maybe that mom will kill her, the mom of the dead boy.
Yeah.
Um, no, it was she was like the drunk woman and her husband, the parents of the dead boy, were
Yeah.
almost a red herring. They kept
Yeah.
coming back. They played a big role, but it didn't really go anywhere. It was like I couldn't figure out where it was going. And I'm glad they didn't. They could have changed it, and they could have had the parents of the dead boy be much more like threatening and stuff.
Hmm.
Which I think in the modern day they would have. Here, she was kind of like hinting, like, "I want to talk to your kid because I think she knows what happened to my boy."
Yeah.
But then she's like, she'll hug the mom and they never took it too far, which I think is better. I think now they would have turned everything up to 10. The parents would have been threatening the mom, and that whole
Yeah.
and it just would have not been as good.
There were a few interesting scenes too. Just noting how Hollywood or how film or storytelling has changed between the 50s and now, and society in general, is these characters like to drink a lot, like they like to have people over for drinks. And at one point, the mother's father, so the Rhoda's grandfather, comes back for a visit. He's a famous crime writer who's now retired from crime writing and he's just writing like farm reports and stuff. But he's come back for a visit, and they have another criminologist who writes stories about crime over, and they're having drinks. And these guys, she keeps making them gin and tonics, and they're just finishing them like drinks, actual drinks, not just a shot. And they're finishing them in seconds. They're just like, oh, time for another.
Yeah,
Holy mackerel! You don't do that. People don't do that stuff in movies now.
yeah. I think it was because yeah, I did notice that, and I think it was like, okay, well, the scene is say like 5 minutes long, or no, not
Yeah,
even like say 3 minutes long. And it's like, so how many drinks can you have in the course of 3 minutes? Like you probably
yeah,
nurse one for at least 15 minutes. But yeah, they're just like, oh, can you fix us a drink? Here you go. bit of dialogue. Hey, can you fix us another drink? It's
Yeah.
like you just
Like
had so they didn't have enough time to. But it's like why not just have one drink? Why do you need to have a second in the scene?
maybe these guys just like pounding booze back then. I mean,
Yeah,
it was probably cheaper than water back then, right?
yeah. I did notice that. It's like yeah, they tend to drink a lot, but um, basically as we go along, the
Yeah.
mom becomes more and more convinced, and to the point where she finally catches young Rhoda disposing of evidence that she
Yeah.
used in killing this boy. And Rhoda finally admits, yeah, I drowned him. And she also killed the old lady back in their own hometown. And she's like, oh shit. Of course, the mom's like, I don't want them to take my daughter away or imprison her or whatever the hell they did with killer kids back then. So she's trying to like hide it. But it gets to the point where the mom can't take it anymore. And of course, this whole time, the father he's works for the military and he got called away, so he has to spend 4 weeks, in Washington D.C. dealing with military stuff. So he's
Yeah.
gone. So the mom finally decides to take care of business, and especially after the young girl kills the handyman, she's like, okay, my daughter's going to have like a lifetime of just murdering everyone that crosses her path.
Yeah.
So she gives the young girl vitamins, which turns out to be an overdose of drugs. Then she goes to her room, and the mom shoots herself. Of
Which
course,
was a shocker for me. Holy moly.
yeah, I was like, wow. Of course, I guess the neighbors are alerted by the gunshot. They call the ambulance, so both the mom and the little girl are rescued and saved.
Yeah.
And the dad comes home after finding out what happens to his family, doesn't realize that his daughter is a psychopath, and the mom is in a coma because she shot herself, but she eventually survives. And then we have what is probably the craziest ending to a movie in the history of movies. I was like, did I just see what I just saw? Do you want to
Yeah.
tell people what happens?
Don't worry, folks. God sorts it out. So Rhoda gets her rain slicker on after her dad falls asleep instantly. So he goes he puts her down to bed. She gets up like a second later to go check and see if he's asleep, and yes, he is. I guess it's that military thing, right? Where they can put themselves to sleep almost anywhere at any time because they have to get used to that. But this guy's asleep. She puts her rain slicker on, and by God, she's. And see, now I initially thought she was going to kill either her mother in the hospital or Mrs. Daigle or somebody,
Yeah,
where she
yeah,
was going out into the night. So it's a thunderstorm. It's late at night. She's walking along the fence and she's got a flashlight and she's using it as a stick along the fence, which probably would have woken somebody up, but it didn't. I figured she's going off to kill somebody, but no, she's going down to the park. She's going to fish that metal up out of the lake where her mother threw it back in, the penmanship medal from Claude Daigle. And she goes out there onto the rickety ass old pier. She gets hit by lightning and vaporized.
yeah. It's shocking, and
Yeah,
it's not so much shocking like the imagery of it is not. It's just the fact that they chose that ending. Did trying to dig, using a net to try to dig this thing out. All of a sudden,
yeah,
boom, hit by a bolt of lightning, turn into a puff of smoke, and
yeah,
then it's like the end, and that's the end of the movie. Wow, that was kind of crazy. I kind of loved it. Like
yeah.
they should end more movies like that.
Now I don't know if she actually died in the Bad Seed cinematic universe because there have been sequels.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and also starring Patty McCormick, the woman who played Rhoda, including up into I think there was a remake in 2019 that she was a part of as well. Like she's no longer Rhoda, but
Yeah,
she
I know. I know. There was a remake. There was like a TV movie in the '80s or '90s, and then there was like a Rob Lowe. I think Rob Lowe directed and starred in it. If I'm not
okay.
mistaken, in like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah,
So there's been other. I didn't know that there was like a direct sequel.
yeah,
In my
called
mind,
Return of
she
the Bad
died. That
Seed.
makes it so much better
Mhm.
that she died.
Now she's been continuous, like she's been working in television and movies since the 50s. Like she's still going today. She's like a fantastic actress and still at
Yeah,
it. hmm
yeah.
Patty
You can
McCormick.
tell that's probably one of her first roles. Like she's
Yeah.
that good. Then like yeah, she had a good career ahead of her.
There was one more interesting thing at the end of this movie. At the very end, there was a title card that came up and said that due to the shocking and strange subject matter of this movie, we ask that you please do not divulge what happens in the at the climax to anyone, which is a very fancy, nice 1950s way of saying no spoilers, please.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So, what would you give this movie on a 1 to 10?
You know what? I forgot to give it a rating out of 1 to 10, but I'm going to give this some bitch a 9 because it was really good.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9 too. I could see they did. I don't know if it was the very first Evil Kid movie, but it very well could have been. But it
Hmm.
did kind of pave the way for like Village of the Damned and other types of things like that. Because I mean, now we've had a million of these movies with evil kids, so like it's nothing
Hmm.
new. But back then, it might have been shocking just having a because there have been gangster movies and horror movies for decades by this point,
Yeah.
but having like a little, not only a little kid, but like a cute little kid, like an upper class
Yeah.
blonde cute kid. This wasn't like a dirty street urchin kind of kid.
Right.
So it was probably like, whoa, this is like completely something new.
It probably
Um,
made some people mad too.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
probably angered people, but it was, yeah, it was just well done. The story was slow. Like movies back then took their time. It wasn't just like get on with it, fast paced.
Yeah.
Like the scenes were slower, but there was a lot more dialogue. But if you get
Hmm.
into it, it's like it's really rewarding to watch older movies because it just exposes you to different types of stories.
Yeah. I agree. Good suggestion, whoever suggested it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed our review. Feel free to give us another one. We're always looking for new movies to
Yes.
expand our own horizons. So, all right, well, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.